Hello everyone, today we are going to study about the anticholinergic drugs. Now what are anticholinergic drugs? So as the name suggests, these are the drugs which are going to have effect opposite to that of the cholinergic drugs. Now we know that cholinergic drugs are the drugs which mimic the effect of acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter of the parasympathetic nervous system. So, anticholinergic is a group of substances that block the action of neurotransmitter acetylcholine at synapses in the central and peripheral nervous system, or you can say at the neuromuscular junction. Synonyms for anticholinergics are parasympatholytics, cholinergic blocking agents, or you can also say cholinolytics. So now let us have a overview of the effects of parasympathetic nervous system. It produces constriction in eye pupil, constriction of bronchioles and increases the secretions. It produces bradycardia, dilation of blood vessels, increases peristalsis and gastric acid secretion, produces contraction of bladder and increases the salivation, that is increases the secretion of salivary glands. So, cholinergic drugs will mimic all these actions, but anticholinergic drugs will have the action opposite to all this. That is, they will cause dilation of pupil, tachycardia, constriction of blood vessels. Then they cause reduction in the peristalsis. That is, they may cause constipation and they produce dryness by decreasing the salivary secretions. So the drugs which mainly produce the anticholinergic effects belong to the category alkaloids, which are obtained from the plants like Atropa belladonna, Atropa acuminata, Datura stramonium, etc. All these plants belong to the family Solanaceae. Now, mechanism of action. How do this drug act? They inhibit parasympathetic nerve impulses by selectively blocking the binding of neurotransmitter acetylcholine to its receptor in the nerve cells. As you can see in the diagram, acetylcholine is released from the nerve ending and they bind to muscarinic receptor at the target organ. But now, if the anticholinergic drugs are present, they will block these receptors. Hence, acetylcholine will not be able to bind to the receptors and parasympathetic effects will not be produced. Now, classification, mainly they are divided into two classes based on the receptors, that is muscarinic blockers and nicotinic blockers. If they block muscarinic receptors, they are known as muscarinic blockers, and if they block nicotinic receptors, they are known as nicotinic blockers. Muscarinic antagonists are mainly known as parasympatholytics. They are used in medicines, cosmetics as well as in poisons. Nicotinic antagonists do not find as such much clinical use, so we are not going to discuss the nicotinic antagonist. Prototype of the muscarinic antagonist is atropine. This is the prototype drug of the muscarinic antagonist class, that is parasympatholytics. Now, classification based on the location and type of cholinergic receptors, as we have already seen. So first is antimuscarinic agents. Then nicotinic agents are divided again into two classes: ganglionic blocking agents and neuromuscular blocking agents. Examples of ganglionic blocking agents are curare alkaloids, pancuronium, and neuromuscular blocking agents are tubocurarine and metocurine. Now let us have a look at the broader classification of the muscarinic antagonist. They are obtained from natural plants, so they are termed as natural alkaloids like atropine, hyoscine. Then semi-synthetic derivatives are homatropine, hyoscine butyl bromide, ipratropium bromide. Synthetic compounds are again classified based on their actions. That is, if they act on the GI tract, they are termed as antisecretory or antispasmodics. That is, they will produce decrease in salivation, decrease in secretion and constipation. Examples are clydenium isopropamide. Examples of tertiary amines are dicyclopene and pyrazine. Now, synthetic compounds further can be classified as mydriatics, that is, they will produce dilation of the pupil. Vesicoselective, they will particularly act on your blood vessels, that is, they will cause constriction of the blood vessels. And anti-Parkinsonian agents, which find use in the disease Parkinson. So, let us have a look at the differences of quaternary and tertiary antimuscarinics. Quaternary amines, that is, they cannot cross the blood-brain barrier, hence the positive point is that they will lack CNS action and hence CNS side effects. However, tertiary amines can penetrate the cell membrane in the non-ionized form and hence they can cross blood-brain barrier. So they will have therapeutic action on CNS but as well as also toxic CNS effects. Quaternary amines cannot go into the bloodstream through eye, but tertiary amines can penetrate the cornea and they can cause mydriasis and cyclophagia. Quaternary amines have greater affinity for nicotinic receptors, whereas tertiary amines do not have nicotinic receptor affinity. Now, as far as excretion is concerned, quaternary amines are excreted unchanged into the urine. Tertiary amines are biotransformed in the liver. Therapeutic uses of antimuscarinics. We have already studied the effects of parasympathetic system. So, uses are now easier to understand. First, they can be used to dilate the pupil and paralyze accommodation. Paralyze accommodation means cycloplegia. Then they can be used as a pre-anesthetic medication to inhibit excess salivary and bronchial secretion and to prevent bronchospasm and laryngospasm. Now the anti-secretory effects also contribute for their use to treat acute coryza. Acute coryza is nothing but the inflammation of mucous membrane in the nose, hay fever and rhinitis. They can also be used in treatment of bronchial asthma and peptic ulcer because as we have seen, they decrease the secretion of gastric acid. So they may be used for treatment of peptic ulcer and they are used in treatment of Parkinson's disease. Now side effect, they can be remembered easily in the form of ABCDs. First is anorexia, that is lack of hunger. Then blurry vision, constipation and confusion, dry mouth. Yes, of course, because they stop the salivary secretion. Then sedation and stasis of urine, that is stoppage of urine. Now what is toxidrome? Now, if the anticholinergics are administered in higher amounts or along with anticholinergics also are administered antihistamines, it may lead to highly toxic syndrome. So, antihistamines must not be used along with anticholinergics because antihistamines may also block the cholinergic receptors and hence the anticholinergic effects will aggravate. So some of the toxic effect are the person becomes too much red as a beet, then it may lead to tachycardia, it may lead to severe constipation, then absence of bowel sounds and the person becomes dry as a bone due to lack of all the secretions. Now we will study one by one the alkaloids, that is solanaceous alkaloids and their analogues. Now why they are termed solanaceous alkaloids? Because as we have seen, they are derived from the plants which belong to the family Solanaceae. So some of the examples are atropine, hyoscyamin, scopolamine, homatropine and ipratropium bromide. Now as you can see in the diagram that atropine and hyoscyamin have same structure, only the difference is in its configuration. Atropine is a racemic mixture whereas hyoscyamin is a levo form of atropine. So now Atropine. It occurs naturally in a number of plants of the nightshade family, which include deadly nightshade, Jimson weed, and mandarin. It is the tropic ester of tropine and it is marketed as a salt of sulfate. Its IUPAC naming you can see RS, that is, it is the racemic mixture of both the forms R and S, that is levorotatory as well as dextrorotatory. Uses: it is used in treatment of bradycardia. Then it is used to treat preoperative, that is, it is used as a preoperative agent to reduce secretions before the surgery. Then as a cycloplegic agent to paralyze iris and ciliary muscle in treatment of iritis and uveitis. Now uveitis is the inflammation of the uvea, that is the layer of the eye. It is also used in the poisoning by organophosphate compounds. Organophosphorus compounds produce the effects like increase in lacrimation, salivation, sweating, decrease in heart rate, and also lead to breathing problems. So we have studied that atropine has all the effects opposite to this. That's why atropine can be used for symptomatic relief. But remember, it cannot reverse the underlying acetylcholine esterase inhibition, which is caused by organophosphorus compound. It can be used only for the symptomatic relief. Also, atropine is contraindicated in glaucoma due to its ability to increase intraocular pressure during mydriasis. Next drug is the hyoscyamin sulfate. It is levorotatory isomer of atropine and sometimes also known as levoatropine. Uses: it is used to control gastric secretion, as antispasmodic to decrease motility of smooth muscles in Parkinsonism and in treatment of acute arrhythmia. Next is drug scopolamine hydrobromide, which is also known as hyoscine. As you can see, it is the levo isomer. So scopolamine is the generic name given to minus hyoscine, the naturally occurring alkaloid. It is used in treatment of uveitis, iritis, and also in Parkinsonism. Most widespread use is as a transdermal patch for the treatment of motion sickness. It is applied behind the ear and it is also used to treat post-operative nausea and vomiting. The drawback is it can cross placenta and blood-brain barrier, hence it cannot be administered to the pregnant women. Homatropine hydrobromide, it finds use as cycloplegic and as mydriatic. It is less potent but has faster onset of action, but again shorter duration of action than atropine. Next drug is ipratropium bromide. It can be synthesized from tropine. Tropine and tropic acid will give atropine. Atropine on treatment with the bromide will give ipratropium bromide. Uses: it is used for treating COPD, that is chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder. It is also available in combination with salbutamol under the trade name Combivent and Duneb, which is present as a nebulizer. It produces bronchodilation by competitive inhibition of cholinergic receptors bound to smooth muscles of bronchioles.